Good day, everyone. My name is Glennis, and I want to welcome you to Home at the Hollow. I am so thrilled to be here, and I am even more thrilled that you have joined me. I of course, just moved here, and I've been unpacking several things, and I said something in my last video about opening a box. I don't think I maybe should have shown that, but opening a box that I haven't had a peek into. I packed it after my mom passed, and a lot of my things, half of my things, have been in storage probably now for a good 5 or 6 years. So it's kind of interesting because some of the things I have never seen before. I've just basically packed it away when mom passed and, not unpacked it. But I wanted to unpack this box. But one of the things that I found, and probably what some of you may find interesting, is that my grandmother and my mother, mother-daughter, my grandmother was a genealogist back in the day. So she was one of those people who you would see wandering around, maybe with someone else assisting her, writing down all the information on tombstones that she can. And what she used to do was compile them in a list. And she and my mother would proofread, back and forth to make sure all the dates and everything jived. And they would print books up for, folks doing genealogy work. You may say, well, my great grandfather from wherever is buried in XYZ cemetery, or I think he might be. You would get that book for the X, Y, and Z cemetery and look to see what information that my grandmother and my mother compiled. So I come across my genealogy bug very honestly. I remember being rocked, really, my mother sitting there rocking me with As the World Turns on in the background and all of their commercials for Ivory Snow. And listening to the drone between my grandmother and my mother proofreading, and it put me to sleep. But after both ladies had passed, it is up to me to keep the family records. So there's really no telling what is in here. But one of the things that I found just in unpacking things, and I've got a long way to go unpacking things. I found this, it's a baptismal, well, no, it's not baptismal. It's remembrance of their first Holy Communion. I think you guys can see it. And there's a medal that someone put up here. I don't know who framed this. I have no clue. I mean, it's old. And I looked at it and I thought, well, I know my grandparents, were Catholic, but it says remembrance of the first Holy Communion for, and I'm kind of reluctant to say my family member's name, received first Holy Communion at St. Agnes's Church, Dauphin Island, the 7th of May, 1899. And it was the Reverend E.P., I think, Allen, and the Bishop of Mobile. So Reverend E.P., I believe Allen is what it is. But yeah, I'm going to just leave it just like it is. I'm not really sure if I'm going to hang it. It's really, it's kind of, really old. But I got to thinking about it. I said, well, that's not my grandfather. I said, that's my great grandfather. So I never met him. Unfortunately, I never got to meet him. I did get to meet another set of great-grandparents, but not on my grandfather's side, on my great-grandmother's side. I got to meet her and my great-grandfather on my grandmother's side. But anyway, I thought it was interesting, and so let's rip into this box and see what we can find. There is no telling, and probably 3/4 of the books that are going to come up here are going to be, you know, some of the books that my mother and grandmother wrote, compiled, that probably are in a lot of libraries now or in people's homes. And this just says books. So I have no clue. And that's my writing. Let's see if we can get this open. I wished I could have done this live, but our internet is just, yeah. And of course that comes with life at the Hollow, you know. So that's okay. Okay. Oop, let's see. I think you can see. I'm going to bring absolutely virtually everything out of here. And the first thing I see is a cigarette case and a lighter. And it has my mother's initials engraved in the middle of it there. Now, bear in mind, my mother was not the type of person to have like towels engraved and pillowcases engraved or anything like that. So I feel fairly certain that this was a gift. And then you push the button here, and that's where I guess you put your cigarettes. I've only seen, you know, a handful of these. The springs still work fine. And probably, I see there's a screw on the back here. Probably, if I tinkered with it enough, I probably could get it to light. But I know my mom and dad smoked. Of course, this was way back in the 40s, the early 40s. So, and she didn't stop smoking until she was much older. But, so there you go. I'll probably just toss this on, not toss it, but put this on the bookcase. And I have here, I guess it's a ID card for my dad. It's an official identification card for Mississippi State College. I think you guys can see that. So I guess that was his ID, his little ID tag. And I've got a pink slip, and it says agent standard commissary store permit form for Fort Sill, Oklahoma, where my dad was stationed at. It says the bearer, whose signature appears on the reverse side, is authorized to make purchases in the commissary store on behalf of, and of course his name. And this is May 1st of 1951. And it has, that is not, I can tell you that is not my dad's signature, but that is my mom's signature on the back. And there you go. There's an old commissary card from 1951. There you go. So, and we have some report cards. Oh my goodness, I gotta just, and I'm really mostly curious to see because they really gave me a hard time. But this is a report card for my mother. She was in the 7th grade from 1942 to 1943. And, well, there's a napkin with my grandparents' name on here. And I think she must have been hiding her report cards. Let's see, what does this say? Okay, an immunization record for my mother for typhoid fever. It was July 1st of 43, and is immunized against typhoid fever until July 1st of 44. So that was, was your record from the health department. So there you go. I guess she didn't want her report card viewed by me. I'm not really sure, but I remember getting report cards kind of similar to this. And another one. Let's see. And the report card is, in fact, this is from 1940 to 41 in 5th grade for my mom. And let's see what kind of grade she made. Uh-oh, she got a D. Uh-oh. I can see an F in history, of all things for our family to get an F in, where we are just steeped in history. She got an F in her term exam. The term average was a C, and the 4th period was a D. The term exam was a D. So she didn't do real great on her exams. Says, I certify that my mom's name is eligible for promotion to the 9th grade. But, yeah, that's what they look like. 1944 to 45, and I can see where my grandmother signed the report card for her. And there's 8th grade, section 1. I'm not really sure what sections, but anyway, her grades wasn't so great either. So, but it's interesting to see my mom's report card and my grandmother's signature after such a long time, because my grandmother passed in, I think it was 88 or 89. And here is another 3rd grade. Okay, 3rd grade. Oh my goodness. And again, there's my grandmother's signature. 3rd grade, she did better. 3rd grade, she did a lot better. But yeah, that's very, very interesting. And something I've never seen before. And this is Primer Lake Avenue School. I think this is another report card. I'm not really sure, but that's what it looks like, is another report card. Oh my goodness. Maybe for like kindergarten or 1st grade or something. I got 2 ration books. And let's see. Oh, they're just really, you know. And this is a War Ration Book 4. It's got a little bit of a string here. And then this is the back. And there is an identification number on here. And this is issued to, I believe, my great-grandfather. That was his name. And when you open it, I think you guys can see, when you open it, you have the little things that you tear off. And in this case, this one got folded. But, and there's a loose one. Oh my goodness. And this is issued to his wife, and his wife's name there. That was my great-grandmother. I knew both of my great-grandparents on my grandmother's side. But, yes, it's really about to fall apart, but, and then it has someone else's name on another piece of paper, and I know this name is my grandmother's sister. So, obviously, they, you know, put siblings and, you know, children in there, and there's a lot of things. It says never buy ration goods without ration stamps. Never pay more than legal price. And so this was my great-grandparents' ration book. And I hope we don't ever get to that point. And there's another one here. It's pretty thick, or there's maybe more than one. Let's see. This is the War Ration Book 2. And this was for my mother. Whoops. Something went flying. This was for my mother. And... or my grandmother. I think this is my grandmother's. This was my grandmother's. And this was my mother's. Same address. See if there's a date on here. I do not see, I don't see a date on here anywhere, but they give their age. So, and then of course my grandfather's, his ration book. So they all had a ration book. And then here's another one with my grandmother's name on it. And here's an application for a ration book. I guess you had to, it says application for War Ration Book number 3. So I guess they were 1, 2, 3, 4, and, you know, so this is number 4. And, yeah, so it's not, I don't think it's very often that you can find ration books kicking around anyway. So that's really, really nice. A book, and it says autographs. And it's got my mother's name, address, and phone number in here. So this was my mother's. And oddly enough, there's a pressed asparagus fern. And I'm sure you guys probably don't know it, but I'm going to be using asparagus fern, oddly enough, on my ladder in the kitchen once I get it finished. But these are not autograph from like famous people like you think someone has gotten an autograph. This is from like her friends. It says, Dear Beverly. I don't think she'll mind I'm reading it. It says, Dear Beverly, when you get old and out of shape, remember corsets at $2.98. Your lifelong pal, Mildred. And let's see. It says, Adam made love to Eve. Punch made love to Judy. But the funniest thing I ever saw was something making love to a cutie. I can't read his writing. It says, your pal, Baker, says, remember the good times we used to have. Uh-oh. And that was November of 1944. So, it says, Dear Beverly, my poems that I write in your book may not be so much, but I will just keep on writing just to cheer you up. Your friend, Albie. They had some unusual names. Now, I know this lady was, I think, her very, very best friend. It says, Dear Beverly, be good as a Christian, wise as a saint, and when he asked you to kiss him, tell him you can't. So there you go. And that's from Dolores. That's February of 1945. But yeah, they could come up with some rhymes there. So I guess it maybe was kind of like writing in a yearbook. And here's another one. From 1942. And anyway, it's just a very sweet little thing of the little friends that they had, and it's a diploma of graduation. Okay, and stuff in it. A stamp album for the purchase of United States War Savings Bonds. I don't know if anyone has ever seen anything like that. And let's see. I don't see any. I see a couple of stamps in here, not many. And let's see. Yeah. So they were metered at a dime each, because you can see on here 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. And I think by the time you got to the end here, it was like, what, $20? $18.70 would buy, I guess, a bond. And somebody's obituary, of course. And this diploma was for my dad. Anyway, that's an old diploma for my dad. And we'll set that aside. Let's see. True Irish Ghost Stories, a book that I probably will delve into a little bit. We have definitely Irish and Scottish roots, so I will definitely be looking at that. And I can't. This is The Tree, being the strange case of Charles R.S. Boyington. Mobile has a very, very large, I believe they still do, and they call it the Boyington Oak. So this is one of the books about the Boyington story, legend, what have you. Okay. And this is Archie Campbell's Hee Haw Joke Book. And let's see. So there you go. Yeah. And she must have met him because he's autographed it for her. I'm not sure where she would have, but anyway. And he autographed it on the back too. So there you go. And these are just some notes. And I don't know if anyone remembers this. It's a comic book for I guess for young boys. Garrison's Gorillas. Porky Pig. On the back are these really cheesy advertisements. I'm not sure if any of you guys remember any of those, but how you get, you know, see-through glasses. See in, you know, glasses you can. There's an old advertisement for Cheerios. Okay, a 15-cent. The Jetsons. And again, those fun advertisements. Casper. Advertising the Daisy BB gun. This is Lotta. Little Lotta. I don't remember her very well. And here is another Casper. Abbott and Costello. This is where they would teach you how to get all bulked up and I do remember those advertisements. Yogi Bear. This one, unfortunately, doesn't have a cover. It's obviously Archie. And another one, I don't know if she tore the cover off, but Archie. Goodness, Archie. Archie. Yeah, I'm not sure what really has happened to these, but Archie. Piece of paper. More Archie. Here's one that has a cover. There's the Archie joke book. This is Superboy. I don't know the year. I believe 1968 copyright. And Lois Lane. I believe it says, yeah, Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane. And this is 1968 as well. Lois Lane. Archie's joke book. See if there's a, I don't see any dates. Archie, this is the Many Ghosts of Dr. Graves. I don't know about that. Archie, Life with Archie. Here's one just for Jughead. Here's another one for Jughead. Archie, let's see. Let's start pulling these things out. Archie's Pals and Gals. Walt Disney's Three Little Pigs and the Wolf. This is a classic Silas Marner. Classics, Kit Carson. I also have a Kit Carson's autobiography there. So, The Big Valley. I didn't even know they had a comic book or a book. The Monkees. And Classics, King of the Khyber Rifles. I have no idea. Let's see, what else? I had no idea. Girls' Romances. Betty and Veronica. Betty and Veronica Summer Fun. Betty and Me. Huckleberry Hound for President. And Jeffrey's latest 13 More Alabama Ghosts. So, just an old book about ghosts. And here's one of my old books. And that's it. That is pretty much it. That was really exciting stuff. But I want to thank you guys for joining me. I hope that you join me. I'm actually getting ready to start working on the coffee bar and get that going so I can wrap that up, hopefully. But I want to thank you guys for visiting me today home at the Hollow. Goodbye, guys.